Okay, so today we're going to discuss about the hepatitis profile. Okay, so when speak about hepatitis, it's just the inflammation of the liver. So basically, that's hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver. So hepatitis could be caused here by the following agents. Could be non-viral. Like for example, we have here your radiation, alcoholism, autoimmune disorders, and other disease processes. Hepatitis could also be caused here by the viral infection. We have here the primary viral hepatitis caused here by hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is caused here by the picornavirus. Hepatitis B is your hepadna. Hepatitis C is your flavivirus. Hepatitis D is your delta. Hepatitis E is your calisi. Hepatitis G is your flavivirus. This also may cause here by other viral infections which are just secondary because of that infection related to, like for example, your cytomegalovirus, your Epstein-Barr, and we have your herpes simplex virus. Okay, we have here different forms of hepatitis. Okay, so we have here your, okay, there are three, when speak about acute hepatitis is just manifestation of really the yellowish discoloration. So pag sinabi natin acute hepatitis, so the patient would have here the typical hepatitis manifestation. So you're expecting that the patient would have a yellowish discoloration. So that's acute hepatitis. There are four stages of your acute hepatitis here. So first, we have here the incubation stage. Incubation stage here is the time of the exposure or the entry of the virus to the body of the patient until the patient try to show here signs and symptoms. Next, we have the peri-ecteric stage. When speaking about the peri-ecteric stage, so it's the stage where the patient is about to have the yellowish discoloration. Ecteric, on the other hand, ito yung actual na nagkaroon siya talaga ng jaundice or yellowish discoloration. And finally, we have here the convalescent stage. Convalescent stage characterized by the recovery of the patient. Another manifestation of hepatitis, we have here your fulminant acute hepatitis. The fulminant acute hepatitis is a rare form of hepatitis that may be as a consequence of the previous na other hepatitis manifestation. And that might be resulting here to hepatic failure. And usually fulminant acute hepatitis may be present or occur here if the patient would have already an existing other liver disorder. The next one, manifestation of acute hepatitis or your hepatitis would be your subclinical hepatitis without jaundice. Kung sinabing subclinical hepatitis without jaundice, so they characterize here by the patient is asymptomatic. So the patient don't have the signs symptoms, but the patient is already positive or infected by the virus because the presence of the antibodies in the serum of the patient. Subclinical hepatitis without jaundice, walang very apparent na manifestation ng yellowish, but the patient is already positive, so asymptomatic. And lastly, we have your chronic hepatitis. So chronic hepatitis is a form of hepatitis wherein the patient would have your persistence of the viral infection. Usually in the case, for example, your hepatitis B, the chronic hepatitis must most likely associated here with the presence of or the persistence of the hepatitis or the marker HBsAg, which try to be persistent in the serum or plasma of the patient for more than 6 months. And we consider someone to be chronic hepatitis. Ang nagkakos lang ng chronic hepatitis would be your hepatitis C, hepatitis D, and your hepatitis C. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and hepatitis D. Pero ang pinaka-most common cause of their chronic hepatitis would be your hepatitis B. Okay, we have here the manifestation of your hepatitis. Okay, we have here manifestation of the hepatitis. So the patient would have here the flu-like symptoms like fever, headache, sore throat. Then a patient would have here mild to moderate pain in the right upper quadrant in the abdominal tract because the right lower quadrant is your appendix. So liver may be in the right upper quadrant. Then the patient would have your liver enlargement. That's your hepatomegaly. with the jaundice manifestation with the tenderness of the liver. And then finally, the patient would have here increased liver enzymes, ALT, AST, alanine aminotransferase, aspartate aminotransferase, and we have also here your bilirubin. Okay, we start our discussion with your hepatitis A. So, hepatitis A is caused here by the picornavirus. Okay, hepatitis A is a fecal-oral transmitted na virus. Okay, sa picornavirus, this is a single-stranded RNA and it's also a naked na virus. That's your virology. So, basically, again, your hepatitis A is a fecal-oral. So, you get infected here by hepatitis A by, fecal-oral. Second one, by close contact with someone who is positive for that, or even by ingestion of contaminated food and water. Incubation period for your hepatitis A is 28 days. Okay, now we have here the manifestation of your hepatitis A. So, in the case of your hepatitis A, the patient, for the children, they are asymptomatic. But for the adult patient, most likely they are having the acute hepatitis manifestation. Pag sinabi acute hepatitis manifestation, most likely the patient would have a yellowish discoloration. Most likely kasi pag sobrang nilaw, we are suspecting for the hepatitis A. Okay, so the symptoms here is a self-limited na viral infection which try to resolve after 2 months. Okay, and rarely, this hepatitis infection do not progress to become chronic hepatitis. Hindi siya because it was self-limited lang. Okay, for the diagnosis, okay, we have your laboratory test for us then to detect the presence of your hepatitis A infection. First, we could have here your hepatitis A antigen testing. Okay, for the antigen testing, the antigen here usually appears during the incubation period and up to the appearance of the client, the signs and symptoms. But for the antigen, that one is not, since this one is trying to decline or disappears rapidly as the symptoms try to appear. Okay, therefore, the HAV antigen here could be detected through the feces of the patient. And therefore, this is not, or this is not actually, I mean not on the feces but in the blood of the patient. But that one is not a reliable test or marker for us then to detect or diagnose a patient to be infected by the hepatitis A. So most likely we are detecting for the antibodies. Anti-HAV IgM antibody is a marker for acute infection. Okay, this antibody usually detected upon onset of the symptoms but try to decline after 6 to 12 months. And then this could be identified through here by solid-phase capture enzyme immunoassay. So for the principle of that, we have your antibody. Then our antigen for that is your HAV antigen, then plus your enzyme labeled, anti-hemoglobin labeled with the enzyme, then measure the activity of that, directly proportional. Another one, anti-HAV IgG antibody, is a marker for your past infection and also the marker for your vaccination. Like if the patient is positive for this one, negative for that, then we consider someone to have a recent infection. Pero kung nag-positive siya, nag-negative siya dito, positive siya dito, dito lang siya positive, dito negative, then we consider someone as not currently having the infection, and maybe the patient has already recovered from the disease, mean to say the patient has been infected already in the past. So, tapos na, or maybe it's a product of your vaccination. Okay, then we have here for the vaccine for hepatitis A is a formalin-killed the vaccine that's being given to the following. Number one, for those who having a high-risk group. So, mga food handlers, for example. Second one, for those having travel here to the endemic areas. And another one is being given here for the children between 12 to 23 months. Okay, the next one, we have here your hepatitis E. Hepatitis E is also a fecal-oral mode of transmission. So this is your, hepatitis E is your flavi. Okay, this is your calicivirus. It belongs to your Happy virus family, genus, and Happy Viridina family, but actually it's your Calicina virus. So hepatitis E is also a single-stranded RNA. It's also a naked na virus just like your hepatitis A. For the transmissions, it's also fecal oral, and incubation period for that is 3 to 8 weeks. Okay, we have here a manifestation of the disease. So this is also acute self-limiting hepatitis, which try to last here for 1 to 4 weeks. And rarely, this hepatitis infection also try to progress. This one do not progress to your chronic hepatitis just like hepatitis A. And then again, we have cases here of fulminant hepatitis related to your hepatitis E. And the fulminant hepatitis may be related for those mga pregnant patients. They have already, because of their changes in their immune status, that might even result here to some fulminant hepatitis manifestation. Okay, for the diagnosis, okay, for diagnosis of your hepatitis E, so you could have your antibody testing. Again, antigen for that marker. Antigen na marker is not a reliable one. So we are detecting for antibodies. So we have your anti-Hep IgM. Again, it's a marker for your acute infection or the recent infection. Anti-Hep IgG is your past infection. So this is an enzyme immunoassay. So you're detecting for antibodies. Since with that, yung reagent natin is your Hep IG antigen. And that is a synthetic na antigen. So, hindi siya coming from, pag synthetic again, gawa sa laboratory, hindi siya coming from live na virus. Then, you add your anti-human globulin label with your enzyme, measure the activity, and the activity is directly proportional to the concentration. Pag increase activity, so positive for that. Another one, we have here your molecular tests, your Hep RNA. So, since we are detecting this is an RNA na virus, so that's we are detecting for that. So we have your real-time PCR molecular test. Our sample for that is your stool sample that will give a positive result here 3 weeks, even before the appearance of your antibody testing. So again, basta molecular test always na siya ay sensitive. Sensitive kasi mas mabilis siya mag-positive even before the actual production of your antigen or antibody. And very specific for that because it's molecular. For the vaccine, there's no available vaccine for hepatitis A, and they're still under clinical trials.